Okay. Any more Quiet for.
Yeah.
We good?
Hush.
Okay.
Falls over the crowd.
All right.
Oh, born right.
Okay, all right. All right, I will now call to order the regular scheduled Apex Town Council meeting for Tuesday, October 8, 2024 to order. Thank you for all who's joined us here and those who have joined us on live stream. I would also like to welcome our special guests that are here tonight, Girl Scout Troop 2058. So thank you for being here tonight. As part of our invocation, what I want to do is bring attention to our neighbors in Weston, North Carolina. The devastation there as a result of Hurricane Helene has obviously been on all of our minds and hearts. And one of the things that we must understand, it's a long road ahead. So what I would like to do tonight is take a moment of silence to support our neighbors. And I ask you to continue to keep them in your prayers as well. What often happens in times like this, we respond to it in short order. We have police officers there now. We have fire staff. We have electric utilities from the town of Apex and the PIO. So I want you to keep them in your prayers and thoughts as well. But let's keep supporting our neighbors there in the months and maybe even a year ahead. So let's take a moment of silence together. Thank you. If you would, please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. We'll move now to our consent agenda. This is an opportunity for council members to review the consent agenda and present any recommended changes or pulling anything off. Is there any recommended changes to the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Killingsworth.
Second.
Second, Mahaffey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, move right along to presentations. We have proclamations tonight. We have 3 total proclamations. The first proclamation is Cybersecurity Awareness Month 2024 in the town of Apex. And as we always do together, we will read the proclamation right here in front together. So if you would, please join me in front. Again, Cybersecurity Awareness Month 2024, and we will start a proclamation tonight with a reading by Councilmember Gant.
Whereas October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, a global campaign to boost knowledge of cybersecurity and highlight the importance of staying safe online. And
whereas the town of Apex Information Technologies, the IT department, works tirelessly to safeguard town and resident data, ensuring our employees can deliver top-notch services from keeping the lights on to managing emergency responses. And whereas keeping cyberspace secure is a team effort, with everyone playing a crucial role in protecting against online threats that could jeopardize finances, medical records, identities, and other sensitive documents. And
whereas this year, our town has shown remarkable resilience and emergency response prowess, proving that it's not a matter of if, but when challenges in cybersecurity arise. And whereas the town of Apex continues to stand firm in its belief that maintaining cybersecurity is critically important, and is proud of our IT team for all that they do to keep us safe.
Now, therefore, I, Jacques K. Gilbert, Mayor of Apex, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 Cybersecurity Awareness Month in the town of Apex, and urge all residents to remain alert in their online activities and use proper precautions for the safety of themselves and their information. Be it further proclaimed that the Apex Town Council and I stand together with our information technology professionals across our organization to bring awareness around the importance of cybersecurity and applaud the Apex IT team for their vigilance, perseverance, and exceptional team spirit. So I'd like to call on IT Security Admin Conrad Sane to come up, please. IT Director Erica Seiko and Client Services Lead David Epley to receive the proclamation. Okay, Proclamation 2 is Fire Prevention Week 2024 here in the town of Apex. We're celebrating, and tonight we will start this proclamation off by Councilmember Mahaffey.
Thank you, Mayor. It's Fire Prevention Week 2024. Whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and residential homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire, and whereas home fires are extremely common, with nearly 360,000 home fires reported each year in the United States. And the Apex Fire Department has responded to 15 structure fires in the past 2 years, including 9 houses and 2 apartments. And
whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires by nearly half, and smoke alarms should be installed in every sleeping room in a home, outside each sleeping area, and on every floor in order to protect the home and its occupants. And
whereas residents in Apex should test their smoke alarms once a month and prepare and practice a fire escape plan in order to be well equipped and more likely to survive in the case of a fire. And whereas the Town of Apex Fire Department and first responders are dedicated to reducing and mitigating the occurrence and impacts of home fires through prevention, protection, education, and by responding swiftly in emergency situations.
Now, therefore, I, Jacques K. Gilbert, Mayor of Apex, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim the week of October 8th through October 14th, 2024, Fire Prevention Week in the town of Apex, and echo the 2024 theme of smoke alarms, make them work for you, by encouraging residents to test their smoke alarms and prepare in the event of a fire to keep themselves and their families safe. I would like to call on Fire Chief Tim Herman, if you would come forward, please, sir. Absolutely, we'll do the video now. You're the chief, so you tell me what we're doing. All right, we'll watch a quick video and then we'll call you up to receive the proclamation.
Hi, I'm Courtney Butler with the Apex Fire Department, and I want to introduce you to the most overlooked employee in Apex, the smoke alarm. Ever wonder how Apex's employee stays fit for duty? In addition to maintaining a healthy and fit lifestyle, the smoke alarm works closely with their homeowner to ensure they are job ready. Monthly tests are vital to making sure smoke alarm is still in working order, and insist homeowner test on the same date every month. Even though smoke alarm works hard to ensure they are always ready, every once in a while, and typically in the middle of the night, smoke alarm might need an adjustment. When this happens, smoke alarm knows how to recharge with a simple battery replacement. Sometimes, though, a new battery might not be the solution, and it could be time for a dust or blowout. Sometimes dust and debris get caught in the smoke alarm and can cause malfunction. And lastly, and most importantly, celebrating yearly milestones keeps smoke alarm on track to retirement after 10 years. All smoke alarms have an expiration date, and it's important to replace them after 10 years. Hard-working smoke alarms are crucial to saving lives. Homes with working smoke alarms reduce the risk of death by 40 to 50% in homes where they are present. To get more information on smoke alarm safety, visit our friends at nfpa.org.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best... Come on, smoke alarm. And Sparky is here too. That's awesome. Hey, hello, hello.
You said it's Employee of the Year right there? Okay, all right. Okay, very good. All right.
I do this on a part-time basis.
They can stay right here.
I earn about 40,000 a year. There's no other job that pays with that little time.
The best part is this is literally a done-for-you system. You're not buying any
Smoke alarm, you get on one side. You want to come on the left over here?
We're gonna put Sparky. Can you kind of go up a little bit further back? If Sparky, because Sparky's kind of big and the smoke alarm also. Look around, smoke alarm here if I can see. There we go. Everybody this way. One more.
Yep, so real quick, y'all can head on out while I just say a few words. So thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for recognizing such a important week for us. We take great pride in the risk reduction part of fire operations. So we're ready to respond at any moment, but preventing fires and preventing emergencies is so important. And I just want to give kudos to our risk reduction division, our fire marshal's office, fire marshal and deputy fire marshals here, but the smoke alarm is our risk reduction coordinator, Courtney Butler. And that video you saw, I wanted y'all to see that because that was her idea, the whole production of it. But I also want to give shouts to Randall over here taking pictures. He was videoing. So our comms department is amazing when it comes to putting videos like that together. So it takes all of us. It's not just the fire department. So thank you and many other departments to help us spread that message. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. All right. All right, best fire department in the nation. All right. Presentation 3, Indigenous Peoples Day 2024. All right. And kicking us off tonight for this proclamation will be Councilwoman Killingsworth.
Whereas each year on Indigenous Peoples Day, the town of Apex honors the first inhabitants of this land, Native communities and tribal nations, by acknowledging their enduring presence, rich cultural heritage, traditions, and significant contributions to our community, state, and nation, and
whereas the town of Apex acknowledges its connections to the lands originally inhabited by the indigenous peoples of this region, and whereas Indigenous Peoples Day was first proposed in 1977 by a delegation of Native nations at the United Nations-sponsored International Conference on Discrimination Against Indigenous Populations in the Americas, and
whereas Indigenous Peoples Day aims to foster appreciation, reconciliation, understanding, and ongoing partnerships among all individuals and Indigenous people of this land, and serves as a reminder of the need of reconciliation, justice, and healing in response to historical injustices that they have endured. And in honoring Indigenous Peoples Day, the town of Apex is proud to present Indigenous Peoples Day celebration on Monday, October 14th, 2024 at Apex Nature Park from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. This year's event will feature music, storytelling, dance, traditional food, crafts, and more in a celebration of the rich cultures and traditions of Indigenous communities.
Now, therefore, I, Jacques K. Gilbert, Mayor of Apex, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim October 14th, 2024, Indigenous Peoples Day in the town of Apex and urge residents to learn more about the history of our country and land and acknowledge the people that originally called what we now know as Apex home. I would like to call up J.D. Freeman, Rosanna Jaslyn, and other representatives from the Triangle Native American Society to receive the proclamation.
I want to sincerely thank the City of Apex for their trailblazing and allowing Native American history to be known and to be celebrated after so many years. And I think this is a part of healing. They were groundbreaking in this. And because of their trailblazing, I've been offered many opportunities. Even the city of Cary now, the Daughters of the American Revolution is requesting me to speak at their Women's History Month. And also they also have 2 other designated spots, like for their visitor center. They want a morning and an evening session for the public. And I just thank them. The city of Apex is so awesome. It truly is the peak of good living. I want to tell you this. I said, now I am the voice of my ancestors from the past. I am their voice for the present. I am their voice for the future. We are truly silent no more. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone. We'll move now to setting of the regular meeting agenda. You have the agenda in front of you. Are there any changes to the agenda before we approve it? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Well, Mayor, do we need to change this? Do we need to add something to the motion for the new business one? It's reflected.
It's already reflected, right?
Okay, thank you. Just making sure. Thanks.
Okay, no, good job.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Gant.
I'll second.
Second, Killingsworth. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, move now to public forum. This is opportunity for the community to speak about anything you want. Anything you want us to hear, any concerns you have in the community. You have 3 minutes to do that. Unless you have 4 more people, you have 9 minutes. And please watch the series of lights. Green is go, yellow is 30 seconds left, and red is the end of the presentation. So tonight we'll start with the first speaker. And when you come up, please give us your name and address for the record. Laura Walken, please.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity. I want to start by thanking the mayor and the town council for the fantastic job you're doing. I'm a 25-year resident, and I think what you do is the reason that Apex continues to be the best town in North Carolina, so thank you. I have 2 comments today. First one is just a comment of concern about the traffic light on 751 North after turning right off of 64 West. As you might know, that intersection is already notorious for accidents, and there's just a concern that traffic backup may make that even a more unsafe intersection. Second comment is around the energy costs. I'm sure this has been a topic of conversation, and I probably speak on behalf of a lot of people in Apex. 14% as an increase in an energy bill, I know it's been discussed, is a lot. Most of us don't see more than a 2% increase in pay every year. But the specific question I had was just the details around the increase. Notably, does any portion of it go to shortfall in pension funding? Does any of it go to shortfall in infrastructure because electrical has to go out to growing neighborhoods? And does any of it go to covering costs that may have been due to ransomware or some issues like that with the system integrity issue? So thank you for hearing me.
All right, and could you also give us your name and address for the record?
Sure, it's Lure Wolkin, and my address is 600 North Coalport Drive in the Amherst subdivision.
Right. And to your questions, we'll have someone from the staff to reach out to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Don Cozzolino.
Dawn Cozzolino, 3632 Bosco Road. Good evening, Town Council. I just wanted to acknowledge the progress that was made with the Beezer Homes and as well with your support to get that road improvement infrastructure over at the Friendship Old US 1 intersection. So that's a great progress that I wanted to acknowledge. So my topic tonight is kind of along the lines of traffic in a weird way, because I always focus on traffic safety, accidents, and common sense. So my topic is on caps, and I didn't know a lot about this topic, but there's school caps, and it's a very strange premise down here. But basically, they want to keep the student to teacher ratio, and when they have too many students, they cap it and they put them to an overflow school. So I didn't know what this meant, but enrollment caps are a way to shift the burden of reducing school overcrowding onto newcomers. Okay, this is from a News and Observer report. So what does that mean? Well, there's not many options, right? So I live in the New Hill Friendship community. It's a rural community, and our schools are Apex Elementary, Apex Friendship Middle, and Apex High. Okay, so all those schools have capped, and they've been capped. So the elementary school was just capped last year in February of 2023. The middle school was capped in 2021 of March, and so was the high school. So these schools are not available to people moving in, like we have a zoning request tonight, and the Peak Landing. All these newcomers will have to figure out a solution for their children to go to another school. And what that means is they have three options. They have a charter school, they have a magnet school, and they have public schools. And public school, maybe they might be provided transportation or not. But what does that mean to our community? Just a ton of traffic. Because now we're 100% cars out where we are, right? There is no mass transit. You all could agree and nod your head to that. What's going to happen is all those parents have to now take their kids out of the area and take them to another school and drive through the area. Meanwhile, there would have been a bus going the same way and could have picked the school kids up. So you're in fact doubling the traffic probably and not realizing it. But I just want to reemphasize, these schools have been capped for years. So it's not like it's an unknown. So when you look at any zoning approval, please look at the big picture. Look at the traffic studies, environmental, and also these school systems that can't support kids anymore. Thank you.
Thanks for speaking tonight. Beth Blinn.
Beth Bushman Bland, 3724 Friendship Road. First, I would also like to say thank you. I see that the first item on the agenda tonight was concerning the old US 1 and Friendship Road, and it's good to see that moving forward. So I wanted to say thank you. Second, I'm here because of the Big Branch Force Main. I'm showing up, and I'm going to continue to show up concerning this Force Main project. I want you to know and understand there is a price for your vision of progress. And I get the impression that none of you care how this is affecting the families and the properties along its projected route. Councilmember Gray had said he would come out and see my property. Mayor, you had mentioned you would come by. That didn't happen. Now it's my understanding that the town attorney has advised against any of you having discussions with us. Councilmember Mahaffey, this is what you ran on last year for your reelection. Trust, transparency, and trees. So I'd like to read your tree paragraph. It says, trees, a commitment to our natural environment. Development ordinances can be reformed as it relates to keeping existing tree canopy cover. We can have growth, but provide a framework so new development better integrates into the existing environment. Clear cutting and mass grading is not how Apex keeps its charm and encourages residential and economic advancement. I agree with that, except for I have 70 trees coming down on my property for this Force Main. They're all mature trees. They've all been there over 40 years. There's a lot of them over 80 feet tall. Transparency. So this project was being worked on for 2 years before being made public in 2022. And the last 2 years, there was a viable option presented to move the Force Main to the south side of US 1. There was a lot of work done, not by the town, but by a number of the property owners and concerned citizens. However, once this was presented to the town, we were no longer permitted to be part of the dialogue with Duke Energy or NCDOT. Now we are told it isn't possible. I wouldn't call that transparency. Trust. Mayor, you offered to be the middleman between us and the town, but I don't have any trust in the town anymore. The town has refused to meet with us or have a direct dialogue. So where is the trust? That's all.
Thanks for speaking tonight. All right, that was our last speaker signed up. Again, everyone, thanks for coming out. And with that, we'll close public forum for comments. We'll move now to public hearing number 1, combined with public hearing 2, annexation number 788 Oliver property and rezoning case 24CZ12, presented tonight by Joshua Killian. How you doing, Joshua?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Like the mayor said, my name is Joshua Killian, and I'm here to present annexation 788 and rezoning case number 24CZ12 Oliver property. The properties are located in the southwest portion of Apex along Hume Olive Road between Olive Farm Road and New Hill Olive Chapel Road. Here's the general location of the rezoning. And this annexation is required as the property is not within Wake County's planning jurisdiction. Town of Apex's planning jurisdiction. But as you can see, corporate limits are located directly to the south, and the ETJ is one property to the north. The current zoning district for this property is Wake County Residential 40W. To the north of this rezoning, east of the rezoning, and the west is a continuance of the Wake County Residential 40W. And to the south, across Hume Olive Road, are both low-density residential conditional zoning, which is the Bridlewood at Friendship, and the PUD CZ, which is the Retreat at Friendship. The proposed rezoning for this property would bring it to low-density conditional zoning. The 2045 land use map identifies the subject properties as low-density residential. The proposed rezoning to low-density conditional zoning is consistent with that land use classification. The applicant conducted 2 neighborhood meetings, the first on May 29th, 2024, and the second on August the 15th, 2024. Those reports are in the agenda packet. This rezoning was reviewed by the Environmental Advisory Board, and all suggested conditions were added with the exception of providing a 30-foot type A buffer along Hume Olive Road and providing a 3.5 kilowatt solar system on a minimum of 8 homes. The typical architectural zoning conditions for single-family homes are included in this rezoning. For the transportation zoning conditions, there's one that's fairly lengthy, so I'm going to read it out in its entirety just so that we can all kind of digest it together. The developer shall dedicate the right-of-way and construct minimum improvements along Hume Olive Road property frontage based on a rural 2-lane thoroughfare on 110-foot right-of-way according to the Apex Transportation Plan with a 5-foot sidewalk along the north side of Hume Olive Road. That's part 1. Part 2 of the condition is, additionally, the eastern access point shall provide full movement aligned with Field Poppy Drive with an eastbound left turn lane to be constructed by the developer, and the western access point, if proposed or required, shall be constructed as right in, right out only, subject to review and approval by Apex and North Carolina Department of Transportation. For this rezoning, the Town of Apex housing staff recommended 2 units within this development, and the applicant has declined to offer those units for this rezoning. The applicant cited that they are providing a fully affordable residential development at the towns on Tingen, and so they're considering that an offset of the unit count. A letter of impact was received from the Wake County Public School System. That letter indicates that schools at the elementary, middle, and high school grade levels within the current assignment area for the proposed rezoning are anticipated to have insufficient capacity. Construction or expansion in the next 5 years may address the issue at the high school level. Planning Board held a public hearing on September 9th and unanimously recommended approval with conditions as offered by the applicant. And planning staff recommends approval of rezoning case 24CZ12 as the density of this development is compatible with both the 2045 land use map and development currently within the immediate vicinity. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer, and the applicant is also here.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Any questions?
I had two. One was, Mr. Killian, how does planning envision people in this neighborhood and maybe the ones further north that gets developed to walk to the future park there that's shown as trees right now, if at all?
So this was a part of a discussion with transportation. Right now, the North Carolina DOT does not have enough data to warrant a pedestrian crossing on Humiola Road to go south to the existing street side greenway, but that pedestrian crossings at intersections would be legal and allowed. So just at this time, there was no warrant by NCDOT to request this. So our transportation staff has elected to not push that as a subject for this rezoning.
Okay, and quick follow-up, how does the warrants for pedestrian crossings work with NCDOT? Like what inputs do they use for that?
That is a question for transportation staff who are not available here.
Okay, the other one I had was, this, because it's a right in, right out at the western entrance, so my understanding would be, the consequence of that would be if people want to turn left on Hume Olive would kind of have to go through more of the neighborhood, I guess, if there's neighborhoods to the north to get to that full access intersection, right?
Based on
the drawing I saw, it kind of looped around, and it was more traffic through the neighborhood than if the full access was going to be the one straight down from the north-south.
Yeah, so that concept plan was a concept plan made by the developer prior to any subdivision or site plan review. So that may have been what was provided with the neighborhood meeting, but that's not necessarily what's going to be approved. So with it being a local connector, there's lots of leeway within the development as to where exactly it would be located. But that's just the condition as written, just to ensure that there's the full movement directly across from another full movement and not allowing too many conflicts from an additional drive, which would be located in roughly this area.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, we're here now from the applicant.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Will Norton, Jones & Knosson Engineering, 221 North Salem Street here in Apex, North Carolina. Just want to echo all of Josh's hard work and planning staff's work to get this presentation ready tonight, and all their help through the rezoning and annexation process. Transportation is not here, but they were vital in some of this as well. So I want to thank them as well. I won't run through all the conditions that are put forth because you have them, and we've discussed all of them in length. Want to thank you all for taking the time to meet with me as well to discuss this. So I really just would like to say that this type of neighborhood, meeting the land use plan, I think it will preserve a lot of the character that's out here in this area. If touching on our point of the layout that was provided at neighborhood meeting, that is still a similar concept. So, but that local connection that we are providing with this neighborhood, if it does get approved, along that western bound property line, it would be like a residential style street. It's just a proposed kind of in that position based on other environmental factors, and then also a connection to the area to the north. So speed limit wise, as far as it'll be very similar in nature to any other residential style street that would be proposed in the neighborhood. So and like Joshua said, lining up full movements from an engineering standpoint is just way more advantageous to not have any additional intersections along that road. And then spacing is vital for NCDOT to look at that as well. If you looked at our kind of idea for the layout here, a lot of that tree canopy in the northeast corner will be preserved. That's where most of the RCA will be found, as well as in the buffers out along Hume Olive Road. I know that the 30-foot Type A was proposed at the EAB board. We are doing a 30-foot Type B, so I did want to make a point of that, and that's consistent with the transportation plan. And then along the western property line, you can kind of see where that proposed boundary line goes, is along a tree line there, in order to try to preserve a lot of that as well in the landscape buffer that will be required. So we've heard support from many of the neighbors to the north, and the property owners have put forth a lot of their desires for this neighborhood and the potential for what could be in the future. And so we've heard nothing but good things, and heard their concerns, and a lot of the conditions that we've put forth kind of show that as well. So our commitment to them. So the developer is JVI Development, homegrown Apex developer and builder. I think it's pretty clear based off of past projects that he's been a part of, and just personal relationship, that he's committed to all of our initiatives here, and look forward to working with you guys in the future, and would greatly appreciate y'all's support tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for?
Can you address the solar EAB recommendation and how you guys thought about that?
Yeah, so the solar, being a custom builder, a lot of the plans that would be proposed out here, we're just unsure of kind of roof angles and the pitch as far as what would be most advantageous from a viability, I guess, with solar. And so based on how much we thought has to get put into that at just a master plan, preliminary subdivision plan, we weren't going to propose any like, I guess, enforced solar installs on houses, but we will do the solar conduit as part of the floor plans. We're not at a point to bring that as a condition with this for the 8. The developer will make that available to the ones that are viable and make sense with the development. But and happy to encourage that when we go to further steps, when they have these homes available and these lots available, for sure. So
thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? There we go. Thank you so much. All right, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for comment on these 2 items. No one has signed up to speak. Public hearing is closed. All right, it's back to council for discussion. Did we skip one? All right. Oops. That's the. All right, my apologies. We don't want to leave you out, Ms. Cozzolino. Come on up. The public hearing for comment is still open.
Okay. Dawn Castellino, 3632 Bosco Road. I normally don't speak at these annexations, but I've been studying a lot of the zoning documents and getting more familiar with them. And again, it was interesting from that the PowerPoint presentation and his explanation that this is an example of a community that is completely capped, right? So there people that are going to spend between $500,000 and $800,000 to buy a house there have to figure out where to put their kids. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about incomplete information and credibility of these documents. I understand they're notarized, right, by a lawyer or attorney. Well, there's conflicting information. So I don't know too much about how they're set up, but I can see the numbers in here. So let's start with the low density definition. So it's up to 3 units per acre. They have 15 acres, simple math, 15 times 3 is 45. Okay, so 45 allowed. If you go to page 178, it has there the mention of the existing 2 units and then proposed 45. So does that mean 47 units are allowed here, or so 45? Okay, you're shaking your head, so it's 45. Okay, that helps. But there's still another discrepancy that I think needs to be corrected. On page 208 and page 223, there's a diagram, and there's 41 units. And in the Wake County school system, it says total number of units, 41. Okay, so I want to point that out because I think that's really important that we have everything buttoned up, everything should be accurate. And I think all the documents are so important to our community on how anything is approved. And we want to make sure everything's credible and lined up properly. Because I've looked at documents in the past and there's been blanks in them. It shouldn't be passed that way. It shouldn't be submitted and passed an affidavit signed for any document that's missing information or inaccurate. So I'd appreciate if you could take a look at those numbers so that we make sure that we have the right number and the public understands the right number. If you can circle back with that to me, I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to be doing a traffic study because that one is, I think it's this guy up here. And I didn't take a look at any of the secondary roads above our area. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing the traffic study. So thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Cozzolino. All right. It's closed now. All right. All right, it's back to council. Yeah. Right, yes. It's back for discussion. The council lead to a possible motion. Did you want to say, provide any clarity on that? Okay.
So just to provide a little bit of clarity, yes, the documents within neighborhood meeting invitations are strictly preliminary. On the Wake County residential form, it does say 41 total units as provided. And also in the staff report, which is what the housing team looked at and what planning looked at and what transportation looked at, the units that were proposed are only 41 units. So there's consistency between those 2 documents. One was submitted at the beginning of the process. The other one is the final proposed number of units. So just so there's clarity between those 2, 41 units is what is being offered in this development.
Would it be accurate to say that 3 units per acre is a maximum, a legal maximum, and the developer would be free to propose lower than that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's not inconsistent really if they don't, no one's obligated to build the maximum allowed density. They could say, we want to get entitled up to 45, but we want to build 41, 39.
Correct.
4.
And that's also gross units per acre. So there's going to be RCA in there. There's going to be buffers in there. So that's going to lower the density automatically. So.
Thank you, Mr. Cleary. All right. Okay, we're back at discussion. What's the desire of the council on this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve Killingsworth.
Second.
Second, Mahaffey. Any further discussion?
I would say on the school capacity issue,
Both.
On both, yes, annexation and rezoning. Yes.
I want to keep in mind there's 4 new schools opening up this year, and additional schools opening up next year, probably like 6, I think, overall in Southwestern Wake. This council has focused kind of relentlessly over the past several years on getting the space for these, getting developers to work with Wake County schools, and those efforts have begun to bear fruit in these new schools coming up. We attended a groundbreaking or a beam raising for Pleasant Plains Elementary earlier this week, which will be new elementary school opening up next year. So school capacity is something we've struggled with as a town. It's something I'm tremendously proud on the work that we've made, or the progress that we've made on this issue, and the fact that we're actually seeing buildings starting to open up. And sort of throw that out there relevant to this project. And I also want to say that if you are in a CAP school, you do get transportation to your other school. It's just perhaps farther away than the ones nearby.
All right, thanks for sharing that, Councilman.
I'll chime in and say I'm not going to vote for this, and the reason is in these kind of developments that are likely going to be very expensive homes, I look really hard for like community investment, either in infrastructure, usually connectivity, or something that's in my view makes it kind of worth the disruption to the farm and forested area that we have out there in that part of Apex, and the lack of some kind of affordability thing. The solar, I was hoping I think this is a great example of a place that could have some solar that could be an example. I think personally, I believe that a bigger development, even if it's low density, that would build more infrastructure, be better planned. Instead, to me, this kind of looks like a typical kind of neighborhoods we've seen in Jordan Point and other places. And I think a bigger development would provide more flexibility to make a more interesting type of development, maybe build more infrastructure along Olive Chapel Road. So I don't see the community benefit of this besides more houses in this area. So I'm going to vote no.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. Approval. We'll go ahead and take the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
All right, motion carries 2-1. Thank you. All right, move now to new business. 1, discussion and possible motion to adopt a resolution approving a land exchange agreement between the Town of Apex and ACRE Manager LLC, and to authorize the town manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the Town of Apex. Mr. Marty Snow.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I am here to discuss the land exchange agreement potential between the town and Acre Manager. So the town owns a little over 51 acres at the end of Perry Road, as you see in the outline here in yellow. And Acre is looking at ownership of the 47 acres that is adjacent to and north of our property. If you recall, on August 27th, transportation amendment was passed to remove an interchange and replace it with a future at-grade separation, and also relocated Perry Road to the west from where it is currently located to better tie in with Forest Light Way on the south side of US 1. So looking at that arrangement, where Perry Road was originally more to the east, it was kind of limiting how those properties could be used, but the road realignment kind of opened up some opportunities, and Acre approached the town about the potential of a land swap. If you look at the land, the track 1 and track 2 or track 3 at the top are currently Acre's properties. 2 and 4 are the 2 at the bottom. And what we're looking at the potential of doing is for the town to take everything on the east side of the future alignment of Perry Road, and Acre to take everything on the west side. That would allow us to kind of keep our operations all on one side of the road. and it would allow for the development on the other to keep all their assets on one side of the road. So what the swap was, if you will look, tract 3, which is the land that the town would obtain, is 23.27 acres, and we would be giving up tract 2, which is 34.81. So a notice of the town council's intent to exchange the real property was published September 27th to meet the requirements of the statute. Tract 3 again is acres parcel is 23.27. It was valued at 2.4 million essentially. And the tract 2, it's a town parcel of 34.81, was roughly valued at 3.9. So the difference of 11.54 acres and a value of about $1.5 million difference. So the town would be losing essentially 11.54 acres. The developer is looking at the potential of additional compensation to the town based on the approval of the exchange. If they were to move forward with the purchase within 60 days of the approval, it would be $160,000 per acre or $1.846 million. If it's after 60 days and before August 31st, 2025, it'd be $168,000 an acre or $1.938 million. And if it's after August 31st, 2025, it would be $176,400 per acre or $2,035,656. Other details of the exchange. The closing is contingent upon additional conditions as described in the agreement, which include NCDOT approval of the realignment of Perry Road. So the developer will design the 4-lane divided road and get approval of that design prior to us closing, because we need that approval so that we can abandon the right-of-way that would be on the property that we would be obtaining. Also, either party can terminate within the examination period if they determine that the exchange property is not acceptable. So that's like a 120-day period that we would still have if this moves forward for us to determine that if it's a good deal for us or not, or something that will work. Staff has looked at the potential use. As you're aware, we are having a master plan, facility plan currently is underway. And we looked at some things that would fit on this site, being some town operations, some yard waste, convenience center potential, and a substation potential. And all those things, as you can see, could easily fit on that property. And that's all I've got. Any questions?
Thank you so much for the presentation. Any questions for Mr. Stone? All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Is there a discussion or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion, Killingsworth.
Second.
Resolution, yeah. That's for everything, the motion that was presented at the beginning. So motion, Killingsworth.
Second.
Second again. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously, so thank you so much. All right. It's time. Updates by Town Manager Mossberg.
Yes, sir. I just have a few items. One, the mayor alluded to in his opening remarks, talking about our staff that are deployed into Western Carolina. We were at one point up to 22 or 23 staff members. So definitely keeping them in our thoughts as they work to help our neighbors to the west. And there may be some future deployments. We may have some come back and replace them with other people. A lot of need going on there. So finding that balance of making sure our operations are available and running here and still what we can spare, and trying to spare anybody we can to help because the need is so great. So the next, Saunders Lot, I wanted to update you on that. We had our bid opening. We had to extend a couple times. The first was for some clarification and questions. The second was because we only received 2 bids. We did open today and we received 3 bids total. So we did gain an additional bid. I can't tell you yet all the details. We're still going through those bids to make sure that they qualify and meet the minimums, but we will share very shortly how they look in comparison to our proposed budget. So we should have more on that front. The plan is still to bring that to council on the next meeting, so October 22nd, for the award of that bid. And then the last thing I have is just to mention the Oktoberfest, which is this Saturday from 12 to 7. It will be here on Town Hall, kind of in the courtyard area and towards the ARC parking lot. So it's another event coming your way, and that's all that I've got.
Thank you so much, sir. All right. Is that it? All right. I think one more last official business for the town. We have a young council member here who celebrated a birthday yesterday, right?
Formerly young council member.
Cross that threshold now, right?
Got some gray hairs in that beard.
Yeah. Always born ready.
Yeah.
So they got me last time, so we're gonna get you now. How about it? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear young man. Happy birthday to you. Yay. All right, thanks everyone for coming out. Meeting adjourned. Thanks. Photo, okay?